So what this prompted me to question was, what's wrong with my listening ear? What's wrong with my musical listening ear? This is Jason Kanigan, president of Sales on Fire. We're going tablet free again today. I don't know what I'm going to do. Told you some of the time that thing's off anyway, and I'm just holding it as a prop. But today we're going to talk about perspective, and perspective in relation to something you may have experienced yourself recently. And what I'm talking about is the death of David Bowie and the music that he created. Now, the death of David Bowie has been talked to death. It really has, if you're connected to music in any way, if you're interested at all in music. But what I'm going to talk about today is popular music and not popular music, okay? Because I was, with the death of David Bowie, forced to reconsider my views on music, and that is an eye-opening thing, and I'd like to share that with you, and maybe you've had a similar experience, or it will help you. Maybe not even in the field of music, in any field. There's kind of the popular way of doing things, and then there's the not popular way of doing things. And the question is, which is better? Is something better because it's popular? So we'll come back to that. So Bowie died. Now, I've always been a fan of Bowie's music, but I have to admit it was always the more popular music. I loved Ziggy Stardust, and Black Tie, White Noise was the last album that I bought. I bought it in '93 when I was living in a dorm at Simon Fraser University, and I played the hell out of that album. And I never knew Night Flights was, which is a song on there, is a copy or a cover of a song from the Walker Brothers. And I only found this out after the death of David Bowie. See, because I was researching around, just checking out, like, okay, what did the guy do with his 69 years on this planet, which is incredible, the amount that the man produced, okay? The way he became an icon, a visual thing, before there was internet. He didn't even need the internet. I'm just thinking this through while I'm telling you. He didn't even need the internet to create these iconic, weird characters and have everybody know who they were. That's incredible. So here I am looking for commentary on Bowie's life and that, and he put out this album knowing that he was going to die called Black Star, and I listened to it and I didn't like it. And I didn't hate it, but it was not pleasing to my ear. Okay? Think about this. They did not appeal to the taste for music that I have acquired. So let's say I like teriyaki honey marinated music, okay? And this was way out of left field, super spicy, something that I wouldn't normally order, right? And it was like, oh, okay, I appreciate that, it's music, but it's in a funny key, and it's repetitive, and he's kind of yelling, you know. And I noticed I was having not just an emotional reaction, I'm having it now, a visceral reaction, a physical reaction to this thing, you know. And the other thing that I was noticing is, by the definition of art, which is that the artist is trying to produce a reaction in the audience, and if the artist has achieved that, then they have produced art. And that's why Andy Warhol's work is the work of a powerful artist, even though you may look at it and go, it's a painting of a soup can, you know, what is that? So what this prompted me to question was, what's wrong with my listening ear? What's wrong with my musical listening ear? Is anything wrong with it? Okay, it kind of woke me up from, you know, okay, we listen to popular music, and popular music is a very narrow band of what's produced, right? There's lots of music that's produced at any point in time. Some of it isn't very good. It's just not. It's put out by people who are trying, and good for them, but it's just not very good. Some of it is good, but it's not popular. Okay, and I would say that there's a lot more of that than there is of any other category, and then there's some that is popular and good. So there I am tooling around looking for stuff on David Bowie, and I run across the fact that this song on Black Tie White Noise, Night Flights, is a cover of this Scott Walker song. And so I go check that out. And I'm like, who the heck are the Walker Brothers? It's a fake thing, by the way. It's a fake name, but it's stage name. But this dude, Scott Walker, has been creating music since the early 60s. And he's 70-something years old, and he's still alive, and he's still producing music. And you know, it's not popular for the most part. Now, I was very lucky in my 20s when I was training Kung Fu. I knew a guy who was from Belgium who trained with me, and he introduced me to Jacques Brel, because he always had these weird, we still had tapes back then. He had these weird tapes. We'd drive around. We knew a lot of the same people. We'd go hiking together and that. And he'd always have these different artists playing in his car. It wasn't normal popular music because he was a world guy. He lived in Argentina and he lived in North Vancouver and he was from Belgium and he lived in Mexico and that. So he tried a bunch of different things, you know. And so his ear was far better musically developed than mine. So part of what Scott Walker's worldview was included these Jacques Brel body ballads where you're shouting almost at the audience through the microphone, and so I knew what that was. And when I encountered it, I started listening to every single Scott Walker album in order, and this is something that I recommend you do. Not exactly Scott Walker, you don't have to listen to him precisely, but pick something that you don't really like, okay? Pick an artist that you don't really like and listen to their whole discography, one at a time. Have it on in the background while you're working, or sit and listen to it and absorb it. And notice your reaction to it, and let your ear and your mind get the idea of different non-popular music, because non-popular does not mean unpopular, bad. It can still be good. And so I listen to all of Walker's albums, and they change, they evolve, they're angry sometimes, they're nasty, they're creepy, they don't do what you think they're gonna do, and that's okay, that's good. And so expose your mind to something that is not just the sound of popular music, because as I said before, the sound of popular music is a very narrow band. It has a certain beat, it has a certain sound, and it's repetitive, and it uses similar hooks, and okay, we get that, and we like it. And humans love repetition, right? We love knowing what's going to happen next. We don't really like surprises. That's why movie series are accused of telling the same story over and over and over again. Well, yeah, you liked it. You bought it the first time. You're going to keep buying it. Right? So we're going to recycle the plot. You like it. Why should we get inventive and risk failure on this multi-million-dollar movie when we can just serve you the same meal you had last year and we know you'll like it again? That's what they're getting at. And you can do the same thing with movies as well, is what I'm suggesting here, is pick a genre that you don't normally watch and watch it. And really, don't allow your mind to get bored with it. Boredom is bullshit, for a lack of a better term. Boredom is bullshit. It is your mind going, I don't like this because it's not what I expected and what I wanted, and it's not the same as before. Shut up, mind. Shut up. Who's in the driver's seat here? You're just the navigator. You're not the driver. I'm the driver. And I will decide what we intake into our consciousness. I will decide that. So there's another dude I want to introduce you to. His name is Derek Higgins. I've been following him ever since the David Bowie death because his video came up in the YouTube. Hey, you should look at the suggestions. And I did, and I liked his style. I liked the discussion kind of tone that he has, and I like his music. There's a website here. I'm gonna have some windows pop in showing you this stuff where you can listen to all the tracks on his albums, and you can buy his albums if you want, but you can definitely listen to them there and see if you like it, and I like his music. He's in, I think, Omaha, Nebraska, and he's just living the life, you know, and he is the kind of guy who I'm learning from, right? Because he is that epitome of that guy who is allowing this experience of music to come in to him and do whatever it's going to do. He's going to have a reaction to it. He's going to appreciate it. And here's something I want you to think about, okay? Our minds are very childish. They're very childish. They're little kids that want to run away screaming when they don't see what they like, okay? And so I will postulate that our approach to music is very childish. Not childlike, but childish. Our approach is we like popular music, this very narrow band of music, and anything that comes along that doesn't fit in that narrow band is rejected instantly by our childish mind. No, we don't like it. And we don't give it a chance, or we don't even try to appreciate it or understand it or say, well, what is this about? Now, obviously, we don't have all the time in the world. We can't listen to everything in the world, but what if we were to just take an hour a week and listen to an album, 40 minutes, right? They aren't that long usually. And listen to an album that isn't in a genre that we would normally pick. Isn't from an artist we've ever heard of, right? And it doesn't fit into that popular spectrum. Could we develop an adult point of view about music, an adult reception to music? What would that be like? What would an adult perception of music be like? A grown-up perception be like? Because I don't know. I don't know yet. I think Derek Higgins might be the closest person to knowing what this is like that I've found. I haven't gone on a great pilgrimage to find people like this, but I'm suggesting that a different point of view is possible, and maybe we should look for it. I know I'm working on it. Imagine what the spillover of that would be positively in the rest of your life, in other areas of your life. I know for me, getting a drawing tablet and starting to, and just finger sketching, right? I've been doing a lot of finger sketching on my little tablets. The spillover effect of creatively producing some artwork and feeling good about it, and being the act of being creative, which is something we don't do a lot of. Or in my case, the act of being creative has been funneled narrowly through business for the last 15 years or 20 years, right? I used to produce a lot of art, paintings and drawings and that in my 20s, and I stopped when I was about 25. That's my question for you. What do you think an adult perception of music, art would do for you? And are you interested in kind of taking that plunge alongside me and finding out what that is? Because I think that that's a journey worth taking. This is Jason Kanigan from Sales on Fire. Thanks for watching.